This is a car named after an Icelandic volcano and wrapped around a bespoke 7-litre quad-turbo V12 engine. It's also made just down the road from the likes of Pagani, Ferrari and Lamborghini. This is a Giamaro Krafla, and it is quite insane. Why so insane? Well, Giamaro reckons that this engine, in its highest performing format, produces 2,127 brake horsepower and nearly 1,500 pounds-feet of torque. Which means I suspect it might be quite fast, even if it is just rear-wheel drive, which means it might be bonfiring its tyres all the way past 200 miles an hour. So that sort of stuff makes you think that this might be verging on the vaporware. Except that Giamaro already has prototypes up and testing.
Just for reference, the guy behind the wheel of the prototype and the development of the car is none other than Loris Bicocci, the man that did the quad-turbo Bugatti EB110, the Veyron and the Chiron, plus a load of other work for Lamborghini, Koenigsegg and Pagani. Maybe not so much vapour after all.
Now, obviously, one of the most intriguing things about this car is that bespoke engine, because it's not borrowed from another car manufacturer. It's a 7-litre V12 with 1, 2, 3, 4 turbos, all placed within the hot V of the engine, and apparently capable of some really wild power figures. But more than that, in an age of electrification and hybrids, that is just cool. But you don't have to drive around with 2,000 plus brake horsepower all of the time, or you'd be driving about like both of your feet were broken. So there is a white key, specifically for between 400 and 800 horsepower via a boost controller, which is obviously for town work. And then there's a black key, which unleashes 1,650 brake horsepower, which is obviously for town and country. And then there is a final red key that unleashes the full 2,127. Now all of that drives through a 7-speed Chiron gearbox, which you can have with either a manual shift or paddles, and it's in a transaxle layout. Now all a transaxle means is that the transmission and the axle are all in one unit, and it saves space, so it's common in cars where the engine is the same end as the driven wheels. But Giamaro also has an 11-speed DSG gearbox in the works, and that's going to take some concentration to remember which gear you're in.
But who's behind this glorious madness?